got no crazy intro here because I spent 2 hours on a call tonight with Mason Beckman. It's coming up on the Short Time Wrestling podcast, which put out Wednesday as I stumble over my words just before the Thanksgiving holiday. As for now, I'm Hall of Fame wrestling writer, broadcaster, and announcer Jason Bryant, and this is Short Time Shots, a quick recap of the day's college wrestling action and news from November 21st, 2017. The pin chain was in full effect at St. John Arena in Columbus, Ohio, where second-ranked Ohio State won 2 duels against Cleveland State and Kent State at the Thanksgiving Throwdown. Luke Pletcher, Micah Jordan, Kollin Moore, and Kyle Snyder each had falls on the day, and the Buckeyes beat Kent State 38-9 and Cleveland State 43-3. Kent State topped Cleveland State 36-9. Air Force and Fresno State matched up on Tuesday on a boat. Well, technically, the USS Midway is an aircraft carrier, but good enough. Air Force encroached on its military comrades to use their boat and beat the startup Bulldogs 24-12. This one has drawn considerable media attention, so check out the Daily Wrestling newsletter by signing up at mattalkonline.com/news to read all about it. It is free, folks. In Division II, King University out of Bristol, Tennessee. That's on the Tennessee line of Bristol, which is also a Virginia city, but we'll talk about that later when Julia Salata makes yet like her 10th return to the Short Time Wrestling podcast. Anyway, King rallied from a 22-6 deficit to win the last 4 ways to beat Belmont Abbey 23-22 in an ECAC Division II matchup. Virginia Beach native and Lansdowne graduate Eldon Valerie picked up the match-winning takedown and sudden victory at 285 pounds. That also gave the Tornado, singular, the team win. Also in the mix there was Queen's University, earning its first dual meet win in school history. Ken Cherto's Royals, yes, that Ken Cherto. That team won 8 out of 10 bouts, and Seth Patera, yes, the same Seth Patera, who goes bonkers for hours at a time over international wrestling rankings, earned the lone fall for Queens. He transferred in this year from Lake Erie. It's the first year for the program, which is going to compete as an NCAA team this season before fully competing at the Division II level next year. And yes, you will get an email from Ken about this. 6th-ranked Pitt Johnstown won again. The Mountain Cats beat out East Stroudsburg 34-9 in a Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference tilt. I like to use the word tilt because it's Pennsylvania teams and they like tilts. In Division III, second-ranked Augsburg trounced St. Olaf 42-9. Yeah, I know. You think I'm going to make a reference about that show with the old women, the one woman who's still alive at like 900 years old. Yeah, well, I'm not. Alex Wilson notched the fastest fall of the night for the Augies, a 57-second fall at 149 pounds. So, I mentioned this before, but Augsburg is the Augies. St. Olaf is the Olies. St. John's, which also has wrestling, is the Johnnies. Yeah, it gets worse. Other schools in that conference, St. Thomas, they're the Tommies. Well, they cut wrestling, so forget them. Gustavus Adolphus, the Gusties. All right, Concordia out in Moorhead. Well, they're at least sane. They fear the ear. They're the Cobbers. My niece Ashley's a freshman there this year. Anyway, Betty White, Golden Girls, St. Olaf. Couldn't resist. One of the old clients here on the Matt Talk Podcast Network is the Beavers of Buena Vista. Well, things didn't go so great for them tonight. It was close, but Northwestern College of Iowa had a few too many bonus points and got the 20-18 victory. Northwestern College is an NAIA school in Orange City, Iowa, yet they're the Red Raiders. No worries, Coach Rick Dahl is colorblind. Graceland got all shook up. Oh, that's so bad. They beat Ottawa 35-12 in NAIA action. The Yellow Jackets are off to a solid start this year. You'd prefer those bad Elvis puns versus any Bruce Jenner references. Yes, Bruce Jenner did go to Graceland. University of the Cumberland's top Division II Bellarmine 26-17 in a matchup of Kentucky programs. Wisconsin Eau Claire beat Luther 27-14, while UW Whitewater beat UW Platteville 33-10. That does it for all the UWs tonight. We'll head east where WPI, that's Worcester Polytechnical Institute, topped Western New England 36-9 in a New England matchup. There's a ton of Division III schools in New England. I've still yet to visit Maine, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire. Don't worry, Massachusetts, you're good. I was up there for a summer in 1992. Rock and roll to Riverside for life. I've mentioned that again. In the junior college ranks, folks, Criteria 7. So a few years ago, when Ryder beat Wisconsin on what was then the fourth criteria, first takedown, people were like incensed. They were freaking out. However, they should have cared like a year before, since it was a full year after the first takedown criteria was actually instituted as the fourth criteria. Now it's the last one, 7th on the list. So how did this happen on Tuesday? Well, Itasca Community College in Minnesota West, two-year institutions up here in the great state of Minnesota, went back and forth. Well, kinda. There were only actually 4 bouts wrestled, so we had 6 forfeits, which pretty much sucks, but all 10 bouts were 6-point victories. Thus, there were no individual match scores to tabulate with other criteria, and there were no penalty points. Ultimately, it was Tanner Reeds who scored the first takedown of the duel to give Itasca the win. Oh, you wacky junior colleges. Oh, and I should have asked Beckman on Short Time what Lehigh's real mascot is. To many, they're still the Engineers. Or to Gimp, the guy who doesn't wear shoes and throws frisbees with his feet, they could be called the South Mountaineers or the Turkey Buzzards or something. Regardless, hit us up on Patreon, MadTalkOnline.com/join the team or Patreon.com/MadTalkOnline. We're going to be sending out a Giving Tuesday email reminder to all of you, but hit the mailing list up, MadTalkOnline.com/news, daily email wrestling newsletter, and contribute to this fine program and all the programs on the Matt Talk Podcast Network at MadTalkOnline.com/join the team. You want to go where everybody knows your name? That's the theme to Cheers. Oh, yeah. Thank you for being a friend. Something, and back again. Yeah, that's for those guys from St. Olaf that one year who, walking down the street, like, heckled me. So I realized that was the moment I had arrived, is when I was getting taunted by St. Olaf people in lacrosse and D3 Nationals. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm Jason Bryant. Thanks for listening, and thanks for subscribing. I'm out. The Short Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Clothing. Shirts, singlets, custom gear orders, everything you need. Call up Cliff and the crew at cmpteamwear.com. First time listening? Well, you can change that by going to MadTalkOnline.com/GetShortTime to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or listen on your favorite podcatcher at MadTalkOnline.com/listen.